Karumonix, the Rat King, wasn't always something to be feared. There was a time when the rats of New Phyrexia were little more than nuisances, small, scurrying things that thrived in the shadows, hiding beneath the metallic surfaces of the plain. They existed, barely noticed by most, simply another part of the ecosystem, much like the moss clinging to the metal spires or the faint hum of energy that pulsed through the world. But things rarely stay small for long in Phyrexia. The rats multiplied, and then they multiplied again, faster than anyone could have expected, faster than the plane itself could adapt. New Phyrexia had once been Mirrodin, a world of shining, glimmering metal, designed by an ambitious creator who had sought perfection. It was to be a paradise of silver landscapes and eternal machinery, a place where the organic and the artificial intertwined in harmony. But perfection is fragile, and like any paradise, it was not immune to the creeping tide of corruption. When Phyrexia invaded, its infectious nature twisted the land, bending it to its will, and with it the rats changed too. What had once been a mere problem became something far more dangerous. The rats, those insignificant vermin, found in Phyrexia's corruption something to thrive on. It fed them, warped them, made them more than they had ever been. It wasn't long before the rats began to turn on each other. They didn't just scavenge for scraps or fight over food. No, they devoured one another, sinking their sharpened teeth into flesh, bone, and metal. It wasn't out of desperation or survival anymore. It was something darker, something driven by the ever-present hunger that Phyrexia had planted deep within them. And then one day they became something more. The process was slow at first, a gradual fusing of bodies, a collective writhing mass of flesh and metal screeching and clawing in a constant state of agony and hunger. But eventually the chaos gave way to order, the cacophony of countless squeals and cries molding into a single voice. A voice that echoed through the vast, corrupted plain. The rats had turned into Karumonix, a being far more terrifying than the sum of its parts. It was the kind of transformation that felt like a story whispered among the few survivors who had seen it, those who had watched in horror as the rats consumed each other, and instead of leaving destruction in their wake, they became something unified, but not just a physical unity. Karumonix was more than a mere fusion of bodies. It was a hive mind, an intelligence born from thousands upon thousands of lives, each one contributing its essence to the whole. There was no longer a distinction between individuals. The rats who once lived and died in the shadows were now one, their flesh intertwined with a single purpose. They say you can feel Karumonix before you see it, that there's a hum in the air, a buzz at the back of your skull, like something scratching at your mind. If you're unlucky enough to be in its presence, that buzzing becomes deafening, a relentless chorus of screeching, gnashing teeth and chittering claws that seem to echo from everywhere and nowhere at once. But that's only part of the terror. What really breaks people, what really drives them to madness, is the knowledge that Karumonix is aware of them. It knows, it senses. The rats of New Phyrexia are its eyes and ears, each one connected to the greater mind, each one part of the collective, and Karumonix can control them. Every rat on the plane answers to it, moves as one with its will. You think you're just dealing with one or two rats, maybe a swarm, but in reality you're facing the full might of a creature that stretches across the entirety of New Phyrexia. It is everywhere. It is relentless. There is no escape from the Rat King.